Well, good afternoon. Hope y'all are having a good day. It is, oh golly, middle of February, 1st of February, first week of February anyway. And we are busy trying to get stuff done. So let me show you what got brought into the shop today. This is what got brought in. No, not her. She's always here. All right. So this is the ladder rack off of a utility truck. The truck has a boom on it, and this was mounted to one of the toolboxes on the side of the truck, or the side of the boom. And as you can see, it is in pretty beat up shape. Of course, we're bent here. That is supposed to sit flat, and it is obviously not. There are tabs that are supposed to come up here, and they bolt in right there. So this is the part of the tab that was up there that's broke off. So you've got a lower foot and an upper foot. It puts it at a slight angle. And even the upper one is bent. There's a lot of the welds are cracked, and it's in poor shape. So they wanted me to remake this, and I'd be glad to. I just have one little problem. I don't weld aluminum in my shop. I've got the equipment to try to learn how to do it, but I have yet to be able to do it. And I really don't want to try to learn on a customer's project. So told them I couldn't do it, and they were in a really, they're in a bind. They need it done because they cannot carry a 28-foot ladder on this truck, which is what they need, without this rack. So I told them I could make it out of metal, but I can't do it out of aluminum, and they were okay with that. So let me show you, or tell you about a couple of things we're going to have to do. The base will, and all the mount points will be steel. The slide mechanism, let me flip you around here. The slide mechanism, this piece, because I don't want to have to try to re-engineer that locking system. And there's really not a whole lot wrong with this. So we're going to keep this part. Now, there's some issues we're going to have to deal with. This is aluminum, and the new bases are going to be made out of carbon steel. So you've got dissimilar metals, and we've got to deal with that. So the way we're going to deal with it is we're going to put neoprene washers or spacers in between anywhere that the steel and the aluminum would come in contact. And we are also going to powder coat the steel pieces with an extra thick coat of powder coat to try to add more insulation. I think between those two things, I think we'll be fine. So let's get started. All right. So I told you that they had two bases, a lower one and an upper one. And part of the concern they had is the ladder sits too high on the truck. This would represent the lower base, excuse me. And right now it is 14 inches from the bottom where it mounts onto the toolbox to the top of the rack. We are going to make it 5 inches, so that'll drop this down greatly. The other thing we're going to do is this would be the upper mount, and instead of making it one solid piece, we're actually going to make it two. You're going to have, this will be the lower mount with 2x2 square tubing right here, and then this will be the upper part of the mount, and this will be 1.5-inch square tubing with that round bar running in between them. So this will these holes will be drilled in so that we can put a pin in it. We can raise and lower it to allow the ladder rack to adjust for whatever truck it fits on. So this is the big difference we're making, and we've got to get started on fabricating all this. All right. First step is to get into the metal pile, and we bought this last week, but that is a piece of 3/16 by 4-inch flat bar. We'll get it out and we will cut 2 flats to make the mounting bases for it. Okay, y'all, we got our flat bar cut. Now we're gonna bend a 90-degree angle on each end. So we've got vertical risers. So let's get that done next. There is our bent piece. This one, I may have to bend it again. It's slightly out of alignment, but not bad. Y'all forgive my hodgepodge setup here. This is definitely shade tree stuff, but it works. I am trying to get a set of brakes similar to the Swag Off-Road set, but I don't have the ability right now to get them. So this is what I did. I took some 1/4-inch wall square tubing, piece of 1/4-inch angle iron, another piece of 1/4-inch angle iron, and then a thin wall tubing. And this just fits over the plunger on my jack to keep it in line. I raise it up. I can slide my piece of metal in there to line everything up and then press it down. It is homeowner based at the best, but it did the job, so I'll take it. Okay, so this is the upper portion for the long side. You can see the bar. We've got it welded to the top of the tubing. Sorry about the camera work. And now we're working on the lower side. So these pieces, sorry about that, there, will be welded to the base plate, and they will end up sliding up on this tube, and we'll locate the pins through it. So what I did is I slid this. Let's see if I can get it to fun doing this one-handed. So I slid this all the way up until the base of it matched up with the bottom, and then I recessed it about 1/8 of an inch. All right. So I don't know if you can see the blue mark inside there. So I did that on both sides. You can see it here. And then we scribed the center line, and I measured from that point down an inch, in 1 inch increments to right here. That'll leave me 2.5 inches or 2 inches in the tube at the last point, and then 1 inch above it, so 3 inches in the tube. I figure that's fairly secure, but once we start measuring it, the original height, this is 18, so 16 is like right here. So most likely we're going to be set at this mark once we put it in the truck. So we've got a couple of adjustments we can make. So now that I've laid these out, we'll go on and drill these. And once we drill them, we'll slide these back on, make sure everything lines up, and then we'll weld these to the base plate. We're working on the ladder rack, and I'm having to fabricate this piece. And the way this works, this has a U-bolt that goes through it, and it'll slide in and out on, let's see if I can grab one here. It'll slide, you'll have a tube that this will sit on, and it'll slide in and out like this. And then these holes bolt into the slide for the ladder. So we've got to make this, I don't know if I can get it in where you can see it. Right here, where my finger is, you see that dark spot? That's a crack. And it goes all the way through the inside. Every one of these was broken off or cracked. This is actually the only one that still has this ear on it. So, and I looked at this and thought, okay, there's a couple of ways I could do it. I could cut one long piece and I could bend it. And I looked at the die that I had to see if it would fit. I can get this bend, but this bend's going to cause me problems. And if I get this bend first, then I can't get this bend. So, it's frustrating. So, I've come up with another solution that I think will work. And it's very hot because I just welded it. Give me just a second. All right, now that I have the proper equipment to handle it, this is what I've come up with. So the leg here and here are each 2.5 inches. From here to this surface is 1.5 inches, and then from this surface out is 1.5 inches. So what I did is I took a piece of 2.5 inch and a piece of 1.5 inch angle iron, cleaned them up, and I've welded them together. So now this creates this piece. And this is equivalently the same thickness as the aluminum. So because the steel is the same, take two. So since the steel is the same thickness as the aluminum, the tensile strength on this should be stronger, so it shouldn't crack in here. Also, where this was bent, you can see the radius on it, where this was bent and created a stress point right here. This, let's see if I can get it in frame there, is thicker at this union. So again, that should add more strength to it. So that's the plan. I've still got to do the gussets that go from here up to here. You can see them on here, these gussets right here. I need to make those and weld those on, drill the holes, and those will be done. So There it is, y'all. So as you can see, this would mount to the toolbox. Your adjusters are here to raise it lower, and this is at one of the lowest settings. It'll go up another 6 inches. Here's the mounts we made. You can see where we made the gusset to weld in. We're using the original aluminum ladder rails. We've got neoprene washers in between this and that. The bottom mount was fairly easy. This is just a skate for the ladder to slide up on, so it doesn't damage the ends of the tip. You've got your mounts here, and this is made where the mount can rotate so that it can be at different angles. So this mount will go from 10 inches up to 18 inches. This mount has the ladder at 5 inches off the deck. So I think that'll do what they need. Watch out.
Just a bit, be sure.